Begin all things with the illustrious name of El Kaloum. Some would say, begin all things with the name of Allah, yield to the most merciful. My name is Ron Elion, uh, aka Cadillac Ron. How you doing, brother? I'm doing this, possibly, a lot of people over the years have always said, hey, you should do a blog, you should do something to like really convey um, your relationship ideologies. You know, some people really like it, some people don't. You know, but for the last 30 years, but officially for the last 20 years, I've been like thousands, tens of thousands of hours. I spoke to thousands of people, thousands, but tens of thousands of hours about relationships. I mean, all kind of barbershops, all kind of street corner polys, building with the brothers, all kind of stuff like that, man. School, anywhere, schools, buses, trains, work, talking about relationships, and from all walks of life, but mainly with the brothers and sisters, mainly with the brothers. They all got relationship problems. I spoke to millionaires, multi-millionaires, thousandaires, hundred dollar heirs, and they all got the same problem. They all got relationship problems, with women. No matter how much money you got, no matter how much education you got, or how intelligent you are, you're always still gonna have relationship problems because we, as men, as black people, melanated people, haven't been taught how to be in relationships or how to relate to each other on different levels of becoming closer. Um, Especially the younger brothers, man. The younger brothers, I try to talk to them a lot, man. But when asked though, I don't like offer. I don't too tough. Excuse me. I don't too tough offer um, advice. You're never really supposed to offer advice. You're supposed to be asked advice from. So especially with the younger generation, you ever get to, if you got something on the ball, you ever get a chance to talk to the millennials and things like that. You ever get a chance, man, really sit down with them, man. And it's really a righteous thing, man. Very interesting too. Um, Once again, I don't have a PhD. You know, um, I think my longest relationship was my unofficial marriage. It was 18 and a half years. Um, a long-term relationship. Short-term relationships work, but is it wasn't successful because my mindset and being conscious, not so much religious, but being conscious. And when you're conscious, and you dwell in that, you have to really see things differently. You really have to see things differently. Meaning, um, we get into the yin and yang of it. You know, if men are internal, emotional, women are external, emotional. That's the balance. So coming together, you create balance. Coming together, you're supposed to learn from a woman certain things about sensitivity and things like that. I know with my ex-wife, I learned so much, and she was older than me. So when I moved on, you know, you be with other women, I was just a different person. And in a lot of situations, I was a better person. See, I grew up being around older men, so hearing older men talk about women. I was that 5-year old kid who eyes and ears was big as God. Just listening and taking in, you know, um, conversations, by older men. Um, I had the pleasure to grow up in a certain lifestyle, which was actually, if I look back on it, was really balanced. Um, I grew up, I wasn't a street nigga, but I was a sidewalk dude. You dig? Sidewalk dude, on the sidewalk, you see what's going on in the street and you see what's going on in other places. So what happens by seeing that, there's a duality there. You saw how the street people live, like the pimps and the prostitutes, uh, drug dealers, addicts, and things like that. You saw how they lived. The hustlers, you saw how they ran game and talk game and lived game, and then you saw how the squares live. Jobs, mortgages, car notes, bank accounts, deeds, titles, 9 to 5s, 8 to 4:30s, overnight shift, third shift, second shift. You see how they live, you know. There's some squares that wanted to be street people, a lot of street people wanted to be squares. Always remember that. But it's the square that controls the world, the square that controls the circle. Always remember that. But that's how I came up. I could have been a drug dealer. Well, I dabble with drug dealing, but I could have been a pimp, dabbled in the underworld of like breaking and entering and robbing and stealing. But because of being around older people, older guys, older men, I saw, the dead end of that life. And I chose the square life, you know. So it took me years to understand certain things, but that's what it was. But relationship wise, it helped. My upbringing helped because I saw the what do you call it? I saw what do you call that? The worst of life. And then when I came into consciousness, when I from Christianity was the consciousness for me. Once I got over that, then it became Zulu Nation. Then from Zulu Nation, it became the Gods and Earth Nation. From the Gods and Earth Nation to Islam, being Ansarullah. Um, then progression to Hebrew culture, Hebrew Israelite culture, Nubian Islamic Hebrew, which was inside of the school of Ansarullah, and then slowly expanding into other schools of thought. But taking all account of how my upbringing was, I had to bring that to religion, whatever culture, freedom, had to bring that to relationships. How does that equate to relationships? You know, um, it was serious, man. You know, I started out early, um, sexually. I'm thinking, of satisfying all the women. I mean, like from like 18. I'm talking about from 18 to like 12, 11 even. I'm thinking this is what you're supposed to do with women sexually. I think, hey, I got it made. That's not the case. I met my ex-wife. She gave me an education I can never replace. It's through her I learned that sex ain't it. There's other stuff you got to do. There's another way of being a man other through sex. The sex is easy, you got that. But how do you talk to a woman? How do you relate to a woman? All of my experiences have been with adult women, sexually. All of my firsts have been with adult women. So it's serious, man, the way I came up. Very serious. You dig? Very serious, man.